told anyone other than God that said that I can do this. But my testimony is really all I have, and that I give food. So in the beginning, when the earth was void, and without form and void, so short. And I grew up in the church from a very young age. I grew up in holiness, and I was introduced to God at a very young age. You don't give your kids enough freedom, they kind of go crazy. Freedom I did kind of go a little too far.
Definitely wasn't as crazy as a lot of my peers, but when I got some freedom, I did kind of, go a little too far. And so there's that, and we did that from probably 15 to, I don't know, probably didn't even make it to 17, like a couple times, just for the sole purpose. Now this had nothing to do with God. I wasn't seeking God. I wasn't looking for God. I wasn't coming to worship. I was coming so they can know I'm grown now. Like, I was coming just to say, "Who gonna check me, boo?" And God has to forgive me for that. Okay, so after that, let's fast forward. 17, maybe. No, I'm 16 now. I've moved from where I'm at. Okay, so now I'm not even with a family member now. Now I'm place to place. I'm living life. Okay, I'm grown in my in my own head. I'm grown, and this started a series of in a distance from God. Really far and wide distance that I struggled to get to close the distance for a very long time. So probably from 17 to, I got married when I was 21. 17 and 21, I probably didn't go back. Maybe I went back once. If I did that, probably didn't. 21, I got married. And so I really just went back to say, haha, I got married. Like, I eventually did it right, because by then I had my first son. So I got married to his father because I was pregnant with our second son. And that's a whole nother story, guys. God got to definitely give me the strength to tell that one. And I went back because I just felt like everyone was so ashamed. Because at the end of the day, yeah, my teenage years, I wanted to be rebellious. Yeah, I wanted to, say, you can't tell me what to do. But at the end of the day, I always figured I was going to get it right. Because no matter how stifling or controlling I felt it was, or however I felt about the rules, or however I felt, I did feel like God had a call in my life. And I did know that there was something I was supposed to do, and I did know that there was something I was supposed to do for him. So I always saw myself eventually getting it right. So when I had my first son out of wedlock, although we were together, that was a big deal, but it wasn't as big of a deal because I got older and I matured, and I didn't feel like I needed to live my life trying to get back at people. So now, I'm getting my head a little straight, and I'm feeling like I probably need to live my life, for me. I probably need to live my life and try to get it together at this point. I have this child, so I probably need to figure out how to really be an adult now. And so I'm starting to focus. I'm focusing on my child. I'm focusing on me. I'm trying to grow. And I know I can't do that without God, but I felt so far away from him. It's like all of a sudden I feel like I can't find you. And I was like, I was in this place, and I felt like you were conditional with this place. So where did you go? Where did you go? Now I'm not in this place. I'm not in this environment. And now I can't find you. And now, now I've done some things that's definitely separated us. So now I'm running around in the wilderness. Now I'm in the pitch black dark. At least that's how I feel. Okay. And I'm like, okay, I got this kid. I got these kids now. Okay, I have a husband now. We got to get to church. We got to get to church. I got to find God now, because they need God, right? God got to tell me how I'm supposed to really parent these children. God got to tell me how to be a wife. God got to tell me what to do now. Like, now the joke is over. The jig is up. I have got to find God. Like, where are you, God? Where are you? So I go to the church, let everybody know I'm married. So, like, yeah, I sinned, yeah, I fell off, but I want them to know, like, I'm back on the straight and narrow. I dusted myself off and I'm back, because it was important to me that they knew that I was You know, I was going to be okay. You know, the end result for me wasn't sin. You know, that I was coming back in, and that's really what I wanted them to know. Because they did. They spent a lot of time pouring into me, no matter how I felt. And it wasn't all bad. And they really laid the foundation. And I wanted them to know, like, that their labor, no matter what I felt like they did right or wrong, like, that the labor, though, like, even if they went about it the wrong way, look, their labor wasn't in vain. That was important for me to let them know. Okay, I had to take a little bit of a break. It was getting real heavy on my chest, you know, like starting to look crazy, kind of like I do right now. Wait. So yeah, I went back, told everybody I was married. Now I'm married with 2 kids, and I have a stepdaughter that comes between our 2 children. Listen, y'all, that's another story, okay? So, you know, it went from me and my oldest son to me, my oldest son, my husband, our baby, and his daughter, my stepdaughter, which was my baby, you know. So it went from just me, you know what I mean, like just me, it's confused girl, to the 5 of us, and all of a sudden it was just like whoa. All right, we're gonna fast forward past that whole marriage thing. That's another 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12. I could probably do a 50-part video series on what not to do when you're married young. So we definitely we'll get there, but we're gonna basically fast forward. So, because we're talking about my relationship with Jesus. So during that time, I would things got real bad, really bad, really bad. Like violent bad, like eviction bad, like more violence, like jail bad. Things got bad. It was just it was really bad. And so there was a really dark time in my life, and so I would go through these times of extreme depression. I mean, extreme depression. And I just remember waking up every day hurting, like waking up every single day hurting, like physically and mentally. I remember having vivid conversations with God, but this is when I felt like he ain't had nothing to say to me. But I remember asking him, like, you could just take me, you know, and stop all this pain. Like, if I could just be with you, you know. I'm married now. And that was really important, because I honestly, where my mind was at that point, because mind you, I grew up in the church, like the rules. So it didn't matter if he was a person that God had designated for me to be with. It didn't matter if that he told me to marry him. It didn't matter if he was a person I was supposed to marry. It didn't matter. What would make that right wrong in my head, okay, based on my understanding of the rules and regulations and the foundation of which I grew up. Now, solely based on my own understanding, me getting married to somebody that I shouldn't have been married to, somebody that shouldn't have been married to anyone, someone that wasn't ready to be a man, less more a husband. And this is not an attack on him. These are just facts. Like, I was not ready to be a woman, and I was definitely not ready to be anyone's wife. And because of the actions that we obviously partook of, we became parents when we really needed parents, you know, honestly. But that's another story too. So yeah, I'm in this marriage, and it's not good. It's not good, y'all. It's not good. And life is real crazy. And let me say this, just so you have a little bit of context. I was with my husband from the time that I was like 17 to 24, something like that. Like, so we had a long-standing relationship, even before we married. So that it didn't go bad overnight. It wasn't like the circumstances of which we were married were absolutely ridiculous. Okay, absolutely ridiculous. So I'm saying all that just to give you context of where my mind was. So when I'm depressed in this situation, it really made sense for what it was, for what the situation was at that time. Like, I was making all these really fast and erratic decisions, trying to rectify mistakes, or what I felt like were mistakes. Don't hear me calling my children mistakes, because my children are the greatest gift that I've ever received from God. And I wouldn't do anything. I'd do it all over again 12,000 times just to have these children. But the basis of which they were born was just really crazy, and the circumstances and everything, it was just really crazy. And I know that I definitely could have went about things in a much different way. But I'm so glad that he says he works all things out for the good of those that love him and whom are called according to his purpose. So no matter the mistakes I've made, he worked it out on my behalf, and I'm so glad that he's working it out on theirs too. So let's get back to the story. My bad. I'm waking up in this extreme depression, and I'm asking God, like, if you could just take me, you know, you could just take me to be cool, like, or get me out of this pain, because I'm in physical pain, I'm in mental pain, I'm just in pain. And so I would work all the time. We were like extremely broke, and so I think I was waitressing, I was going to school, and you know, I got into some legal stuff, you know, like with my husband. I'm gonna say this, we like to fight a lot, like fight. At this point in my life, I like to fight everything but my children, you know, men, women, everything breathing, I felt like was a threat to me, and that I wasn't one to argue with you. I was so much smaller than the whole world. If I felt threatened by you, I'm one to swing off. Like, you might, you know, get the best of me, because it's just, you know, he was a whole man, whole 6 foot tall man, but you gonna know I was there. That's how I felt about it. So we and he felt the way too. So we just basically spent our days, because we were so miserable and unhappy, and so lost in our sins, and so lost in our bad choices and our bad decisions, that we literally took it out on each other all the time, every day. Like, every day. I could say, hand me that piece of paper, and he could act like he didn't hear me, and I could be like, you heard what I said, hand me the piece of paper, and then what? Cats and dogs. Like, you know, things so minute and so small like that. And so there'd be plenty of days I'm walking out, but to live, you know, but I'm going to work, and he's running around bruised eye, but you know, he's going on with life, and that just basically was our life. And so it was miserable. It was, and of course, you know, everybody can't know about this. So on top of, you know, the turmoil that we put each other through daily, nightly, all the time, and working 12-hour shifts as much as I could, trying to make some sort of life for our children, so they can eat and live in circumstances that a little better than ours. It was a lot, and keeping it all a secret on top of that, and looking at the world and smiling. We're this happy young couple, and me pretending like God is pleased and I'm going to lead my husband to the Lord, because my husband didn't have that foundation. My husband had, by his own admission, no real relationship with God, no compass for who or what God is or was or could be. He didn't know any of those things. So, you know, that was my mission. It's okay, because once I lead him to God, because, you know, I know him so well, we're gonna be okay. And it didn't go like that. So I'm miserable, he's miserable. You know, our children are really young, right? They're like 3 and a newborn, and yes, he's about to be 2 or something like that, and all real small. And so we think they're so small. They're not paying attention to us beating the life out of each other daily. They're not paying attention to us tearing up our house, putting holes in walls. They're not paying attention, but they were paying attention. And it got to the point where my oldest son, who was like 3, 4 years old, would get between my husband and I, because he didn't want us to fight. And he didn't trust him to be around me, so he would get between them. And when he saw me, he would come stand in front of me and things like that. And when I saw that, I was so ashamed. Oh man, I was so ashamed, and I thought I would surely die from guilt. Like, if this guy don't kill me, I'm gonna die from guilt, because anybody who sits in a situation and creates a situation like this for their child, surely they don't deserve to live. And these are the kind of thoughts that I lived with daily. Okay, so my husband and I separated 2-3 years into the marriage. We separated, and he went to live somewhere, and me and my children, we stayed here. And you know, he's gone, and so I should be happy now. I'm no longer in a situation where I have to fight every day. I'm no longer in a situation where I have to protect myself or feel like I have to protect myself. I'm no longer in a situation where I feel like I need to prove something to somebody by physically intimidating them, or to prove to them I'm not scared no matter what they do. I'm I'm no longer in that situation. So I should be happy, right? Wrong. I'm extremely miserable. Now I'm even more miserable than I was when he was here, because at least when he was here, we shared this misery together. Now this misery is just mine. And let me tell you, the truth is that misery does love company. Like, misery loves company, and misery will try to infect everything and everyone around you. I just thank God that he covered my children. And so now, years, many years go by. Many years are going by. My kids are growing up. Many years are going by. And I try to find God sometimes, you know. Like, I would wake up in the middle of the night praying, and I would just keep praying. I just kept praying. I remember it was this time of like intense prayer, but I had no church, I had no pastor, I had no Christian to save friends, but I was still praying. I wasn't necessarily living saved, but when I tell you I was praying, and I'm praying for my children, and I'm praying for my mind, and I'm praying for my body, and I'm praying for changes that I'm not seeing, changes that I can't feel,